Hello everyone and welcome to the Extreme Tech channel. For today's video guys, finally got my hands on one of those laser welders. We've seen a lot online on YouTube, lots of short videos about how easy it is to set up. No need to set up, no need knowledge, nothing. You can just grab any material and start welding. So finally they sent me Xlaserlab, one of their welding lasers machines to test it out. And that's what we're going to do. As I said, comes in two boxes. Design looks pretty cool. I like that nice big display screen, two cooling fans. It's air cooled, so you can use nitrogen or argon gas. Another box is your external wire feeder equipment with a welding laser helmet and all other accessories, including tips, consumables, and all that stuff. No wire, of course. This is something you gotta buy for yourself. First of all, this welding machine, as I said, it's pretty nice and cool. Great design. It's not that heavy, up to 50 pounds. Xlaserlab X1 Pro. It's a handheld laser welding machine. But before we dive deep into more details, I would like to say what is a laser. So what the laser stands for, it's a light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, which means it's an extremely high monochromacity, which is single wavelength, strong directionality, highly concentrated energy. They use it in the different industries like fiber optic communication, industrial cutting, medical surgeries and stuff, etc. So first of all, this is classified as a class 4 laser, which means there's lots of possible hazards with it, with using this laser radiation injury, electrical injury, mechanical injury. This laser can burn skin, and in some cases even scatter laser can cause damage to eyes, skin, causing of fire or explosion. And many industrial and scientific lasers belong to this category. So I'm going to show you here just a little bit example of potential fire hazards. So this is just a piece of the cardboard I got here, and so if you're aiming uncontrollably that beam around your shop, garage, whatever, be careful, because you can burn stuff and like they can ignite very fast and quickly, especially if it's people around. Don't aim that laser beam in anyone's head, eyes, or of course don't ever look inside with your eyes, because you're gonna burn. So this is thick stick gloves, and as I said, this is only 700 watts laser. It's not industrial, so you can see it cut on couple spots through my thick stick gloves. So definitely it's gonna burn your skin, it's gonna do some damage. That's why you gotta be really careful. They don't talk much about that when they're presenting all those lasers online. But this is something you gotta be careful. That's why you got a manual, you gotta read it. It says right here, danger class 4. So this is handheld laser welding machine. It emits invisible laser at a wavelength of 1080 nanometers with an output power greater than 700 watts. So you can see what 700 watts can do. So imagine now like the stronger ones, especially for industrial settings. There's like 5,000 reported injuries just in the US annually. That's why you got to be really careful with it. So we got to do some testing here. I'm going to test on the different materials without wire and with wire. Put some aluminum and do some carbon steel. So before use, make sure you got proper safety, hand gloves, properly rated welding lens that's on your laser welding helmet. Make sure it's rated for that specific machine. So it comes with an emergency switch. This is an external emergency switch that's close to your workpiece. This is safety clip. This is safety goggles with inside that in that case. Looks really nice. Nice packing, good quality. This is a nozzle packing box for your handheld laser machine. Different types of tips. For cutting, for outer angles, for wire, without wire, graduated tube. And you got those two boxes. This is a focusing lens. You're gonna get two boxes as well. And in this little box, there's a protective lens. There's 5 of them inside. That's for your maintenance, for your cleaning and replacing. Branches with the tips for your wire feeder. different sizes for different types, and the power cable, so you can go on 110 to 230, and 6mm OD. This is your argon hose for push to connect fittings, and your torch that just install on the table, and this is for your torch. And torch itself looks nice, looks cool. It's not that heavy. On-off switch here. This is where you press and hold with different presettings that you can set up on your welding machine before you start welding. Okay, as I said, this is a wire feeder, your external unit that's going to go outside. Usually it's designed for 2-inch diameter hole on your spool wire, but I installed temporary one little small bracket underneath because I got lots of those small spools. Comes with the double rollers, 4 different sizes of rollers, one size on each side of the roller. As I said, I'm going to use this is aluminum one. I'm going to start with that. On the other side, that's extra for 2 different, so altogether 4 different types of size of your filler wire. And this is your feeder that goes to your torch. Okay, we got on-off switch. This is your power plug underneath. This is where you connect your power. This is where goes that 6-pin feeder that connects to your external unit, and this is your gas inlet for your 6mm OD argon. This is your E-switch. It's designed to be close to you when you're welding, so you can, in case of emergency, and this right here is to your PC or laptop to connect. Now I'm going to connect all those cables here, and we're going to turn on the machine. Then push to connect fitting. This is what you need for your flow meter, for your gauge on your argon bottle. They recommend using 99%, but no need. I'm just using what I got. So this is off on internal lock. Before you start welding, this got to be on. When you finish using laser, got to be off. And this loop, this is where you connect your safety clip. The safety clip is designed to go to your workpiece. So this is gun itself. We got a nozzle here, copper nozzle. This is graduated tube with all the markings. So for a stick out, I usually set up on 0. This is where your lens is inside with those 2 screws, focusing lens. So when you're doing maintenance and cleaning, this is where you replace all that. On the back side of your torch, this is a motor. Okay, here then we got LED lights. They're gonna be on and off. You're gonna be, you will see when they're ready to weld. Here on the bottom is a collimator. So here on the black button is a switch for already pre-settings you can set up on a welding machine, and 1, 2, and 3 for different procedures. And this is a wire feeding bracket. That's where the wire feeding bracket, we installed that wire feeder inside. Okay, as I said, once you confirm the process you want to use, welding, cutting, or cleaning, just press confirm, and then you're on the main screen. Then you already here you got pre-settings already manufactured for aluminum, like you can see in the right top corner. Aluminum 1mm thickness of material. Swing width is the size of your bead, so you can have a gas here. You can press wire feeder, wire fitting settings, configuration. Okay, now we got different types of material and thickness. So right now I got aluminum 1mm, but you can have stainless steel, carbon steel, copper, and all other types of material that you can use. Once you choose what you want to do, just press confirm on a wire feed. This is your wire feed with the pullback length. You can also switch to pulse or continuous. Depends what you're doing. On a set, everything else is used pretty much by manufacturer when they probably do some maintenance and repair. But here, for the most important is a red light center. So you want to make sure that your red light is right in the center. This got to be 0. or you can use left and right buttons like on the screen. And this is pretty much when you're setting the red light beam, got to be right in the center. You attach a recommendation for your, they say you can use, they recommend using 99% pure argon. I just use what I have, it doesn't have to be pure. For optimal welding results, they recommend to use a flow meter and a pressure reducer up to 15 to 20 liters per minute, which is 35 to 40 standard cubic feet per hour. As I said, there's a different types of tips, nozzles that you can use. Depends on the wire diameter that you're using. And you can use, let's say, no wire feed at all, which is like autogenous. And then we're gonna test on a piece. So before turning on the laser, the safety interlock must be connected to the laser. Only when a complete circuit is formed between the clip and welding gun can laser be emitted. Here you just turn on the start button, and you cannot operate without turning on the start button and a stop. So here, this is how you cheat the system. You just connect that safety clip on your holder, and instead of on the workpiece. Works good. It's not unsafe. You can do that when you're cutting, cleaning, and in this case when you try to weld. As I said, no wire feed here. I'm just gonna try to do one weld without using wire, which is autogenous welding, which means no filler wire. You're just basically melting two pieces together. So I'm doing downhill, and I'm gonna check how strong that weld is. It's aluminum, so I don't expect it's gonna be really strong. The weld is not beautiful at all. There's lots of undercuts, so definitely you need a filler wire. And it doesn't take much effort, snaps right away. Okay, now I'm gonna try to do a little bit different here. Just gonna do a fillet weld. I'm still using the same settings. It's already manufactured presets for that thickness of material. This doesn't look bad at all, actually. This one is a little bit better. A little bit more uniform, consistent. Travel speed is important, I guess. You gotta, you know, kind of drag that, but it snaps right away as well. So definitely for the next piece, I'm gonna use a aluminum wire. Okay, this 1 mil thickness of filler wire. Then we're gonna run through those two double rollers. They have most important thing here, guys. I marked it. Stick out for that feeder. So before you insert in that hose, make sure it's not too close to that roller or not too far, because you're gonna have bird nesting, all that wire build up here. It's really thick, especially on a 0.8 aluminum wire. It's really tricky. I spent a couple hours just to figure out what is the best. So this is 6-point connector to from your feeder to your laser machine. Once you run through those rollers inside, you lock it tight, not too tight. Just make sure it doesn't slip when you're running wire. As I said, you gotta play with it a little bit. When you go to your wire feed, this gotta be on, and then you can do it manually on the machine, wire feed, or you can do wire retract. Then you go to settings. Usually for when I'm doing a wire feed, there's lots of different settings, but I don't touch anything else except that wire speed, millimeters per second. For initial wire feeding, I go 40 mils per second, and you can run from your touch screen, or you can run from the wire feeder equipment. As I said, keep an eye if you got something like this for that stick out. This he already has a little groove here on every tip that's used for wire feeder, and once you run that wire, it's gonna connect all that attachment, and the wire is gonna go through that groove that's already on your nozzle. So far, honestly, takes a little bit time to figure everything out. It's not that nice and smooth as you've seen on the YouTube. Make sure this is going through that groove that's already on your tip. There's a different marks on each tip is for different use. You got the outer angles, the inner, cleaning, cutting, and all that stuff. Now we're gonna try this. As I said, most important part is just you gotta play with it a little bit to know. Now we're gonna do downhill again. Now it's a little bit better, well, more smoother. It's not too hot. Maybe I should just play with the settings a little bit more. Definitely it's not that easier to break it right now by hand, but let's see. I'm gonna put in a vise, and how much does it take? It doesn't take much to break it. It is more tougher than the first coupon you've seen. This is a little bit stronger and it snapped right on the weld. I mean, this application you're not going to use for any pipe welding or stuff, but if you got any structural stuff, small stuff, if you're doing art or if you're doing any ornamental work, fences and stuff like that, it can be really handy and really useful. As you can see here, this is not too bad. Now I'm going to do some cleaning. Let's see how this works. This is already presets. The inside you can play with the power or swing frequency. So it was initially manufactured setting for 40% for power. I crank it up a little bit more on 80 for this, and this is actually works pretty good. This is one of the options for this laser welding machine that I like. No more noisy grinders. You can actually use this and clean all what you got. Scrap paint, rust. Make sure you use respirator and a well ventilated area. Yeah, this is not too bad. It's nice and shiny, nice and clean, ready to weld. This is good. This is the function I like. I mean, there's lots of room for improvement. I still gotta figure all this thing how it works. Okay, now I installed that. This is 70S6 filler wire. Now we're gonna do some carbon. I got bigger spool. Make sure the tip matches your wire size. It's 0.8. I'm gonna tack here, and let's try to do fillet weld here on this piece. As I said, guys, just a little bit time, just a little bit playing. As I said, it can be very useful if you got a little manufacturing, business, from some light construction, even like furnitures, or people doing different types of business, arts, ornamentals, handrails, fences, stuff like that. You can operate outside. Yeah, this is not too bad. As I said, you can play with that, the size of your beam, the width of your weld bead. It's really thin, and I'm just gonna do a couple more like multipass here. I'm just gonna play with this. 5 mil is the max when you weld. When you clean it, so I think it goes up to 8 mil. Just gonna go up on the power. I'm gonna leave the swing frequency as is. I'm just gonna do like a couple passes, playing with the size of that width. The first one was 2 mil. This one is a 5 mil. I go a little bit slower here. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, this is a little bit better now. It's not too bad actually. I slowed down with my travel speed. I didn't go that fast. As this is carbon. I'm not gonna cut it. I'm not gonna check for that edge test. Just gonna put a couple more passes just to play with that wire feed now with the wire speed. Now I'm put on a 7 mil. Gonna leave everything else the same. Just doing one pass on the bottom now. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. Looks pretty good actually, and it pulled. You can see the bottom piece. It's already started pulling. Kinda bent a little bit from that heat and from the weld. Definitely gotta spend some time. It's not that easy as it seems. It requires a little bit practice and training before you go into little manufacturing or whatever you got. But you gotta spend some time and figure everything out. Yeah, this is looking decent. So as I said, if you guys doing like any, I don't know, metal furniture stuff, I think this will be really good. It's nice and uniform, consistent. Just gotta take care about your travel speed and settings. You can probably go faster. Depends from the thickness. As you can see, it's already bent, so it means it pulled. So there is some strength here, definitely. Okay, now let's do some cutting. I got a 16 gauge aluminum plates. Just gonna play with it. This is most important thing. Don't go 90 degrees, so gotta be under the angle when you're cutting, so it doesn't goes back reflection. There is a cutting tip inside that box. Okay, I'm gonna cut. I try to cut one straight cut. It's not really that straight, but you know what I mean. Yeah, for stuff like this, like for small stuff, small manufacturing, I think it's pretty handy, it's pretty cool. As you can see down on the ground, leaves mark in a cement. That's why you gotta be careful. Yeah, that's not too bad. That's it, so you can cut, clean, weld. So I had an idea when I was recording this video that actually I had an extra spool gun wire compartment with a little arm outside that I can actually install here and remove the one temporary that I was using just to install the little wire spools, as I had them a lot. And I'm just gonna try this. So I'm gonna mark here, try to use my laser gun for cleaning that paint, so I can weld one nut, which I'm gonna screw one rod inside, ready rod, and connect that wire spool compartment and try to fit direct into those rollers. I think it's gonna provide more stable and consistent wire feed. This is when it comes really handy. You know, really tight spot, you don't have to use grinder. Removes paint easy, like within 5 seconds. This is good part. So I'm gonna put only 4 tacks on this nut. I'm just gonna weld 4 tacks, and that should be strong enough for this. This is the idea maybe for manufacturer. They can also include some extra part for smaller spools, because I know the aluminum is not that pricey, but stainless one, like the big spools, 10 pounds and higher, like in a higher price. So this is kind of idea. And then you open that compartment, install the wire, and especially with the stainless it's behave a little bit different than mild steel and aluminum, so it doesn't get tangled around those rollers. That's why that stick out I showed you earlier, it's important. You got to figure out how much is good. That's it pretty much for this video. I think this machine can be very useful. You got to be careful with all that safety precautions. You got to be aware of that. I think that's number one. And the number two, you got to play with it to get familiar, and definitely you can use it for any home projects or for small light manufacturing if you got. That's it, guys. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoy it. This Xlaserlab X1 Pro, a handheld laser machine. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next one, guys. Take care.